Welcome to Grow With Angie. I'm Angie, and we're going to be talking about how to winterize and protect your chickens during the really cold months. Here's a couple sneak peeks of what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to go over 6 different things that you can do to protect your hens. So if you're ready, let's get warmed up and do some chicken chores. The first thing I want to talk about is wrapping your chicken coop with plastic wrap. If you have any outdoor coop area that you want to protect them from the wind can be one of their worst enemies. This is what we did over this last weekend of wrapping the coop and leaving some ventilation areas at the top so the air can flow through and they still get good fresh air. This is a painter's drop cloth. You can get these at any hardware store. These will last several years, depending on how many times you're stapling them into the coop. When you're ripping them down, you're gonna be poking holes or ripping holes into the plastic wrap, and that will kind of make them, break down, but very inexpensive thing to do. My number 2 trick is lining your walls with your old feed bags. This will help the frost from building up on the walls in the winter, and it also is a nice insulation in the summer to help keep it cool. It just is an extra layer of protection for wind if you have any holes in the sides of your coops, but it definitely helps with the frost. Number 3 is called the deep litter method. You can do this with pine shavings, you can do it with straw, hay, whatever you want to use as a protective layer in your coop. And you're going to continuously add your pine all winter long. And this is just a quick tip. I have a really dull old knife out at the coop, and this is exactly what I use it for. It makes my life a lot easier, but you're just going to continuously add your pine to the base of their coop. And over the winter time, I will tell you, your roof is going to get lower because your floor is getting higher with all the pine. But this is adding a really good deep layer, and it also gives a fresh start every month or so by adding another bag of pine. Tip number 4 is a galvanized watering can and a heat plate. The heat plates are around 35 to 37 degrees. As you can see, I can touch the side of it and it's very cool, so your chickens running up against it or brushing against it is not going to hurt them at all. The top plate is a little bit warmer, but you have your waterer on top, so they shouldn't be able to access that. We actually bring our water outside with a big watering can that you would use for your plants. I have used one of these heat plates since we started doing chickens, which was about 8 or 9 years ago, and I've only had to replace it once. So they are an initial expense up front, but then they pretty much pay for themselves, and you don't have to worry about your frozen water. Tip number 5 is going to be probably my most controversial tip, and that is heat lamps. Heat lamps are one of the number 1 things to burn down your chicken coop. As you can see, I'm standing in my coop and I'm 5'3" and my ceilings are way above my head, and I'm also standing on a deep litter right now, so I am being brought up a little bit because of all the bags of the pine. I do not recommend using these if you have a really low roofed coop. If you have one of those pre-manufactured coops where there's just enough room for the chickens to nest, don't do it. It's going to be too close to the bottom. This is actually mounted up into our ceiling just like the regular light fixtures. Another good tip is to not put it over top of where your girls roost. You can see behind me, this is where the chickens roost at night. Having a heat lamp right over top of them and getting an airflow up from above is gonna be what causes the frost, because in the morning, they're gonna wake up and they might have like a little bit of a dewy residue on their wattles, their beaks, their everything on their face because they sat underneath of a heat lamp all night long. Having it up in the corner and out of the way and maybe closer to the nesting box would be the best way to use this. And another big major thing to think about is your chicken's body temperature on average is 105 to 107 degrees. So although I need a big fluffy sweatshirt right now and a hat, they have their feathers and their body temperature will keep them warmer longer than it would for us. I only use this because of the area that I live in we do get under 0 degrees. If there is any kind of a weather warning that is put out for bring your animals in, it's going to be dangerous, that is when I'm going to kick the heat lamp on and I'll lock them in. All of the other measures that I'm doing, this is my last option, and I'll only use it for a day or two. Tip number 6 is something called fresh flock. This is actually a bedding that is a mixture of a few different things. Inside this bag is barley straw, wheat straw, a zeolite granule, and that is something that they can eat, it's fine, but it also absorbs moisture. So in the middle of the winter, when you have it wrapped like this, you're gonna get some almost winter humidity buildup, and this is going to help with the moisture and keeping the ground dry in here. And there's also alfalfa hay, which is sun dried, and they love picking at this. They are already hitting this bag trying to get into it. Now my older hens that have been around for a while, they got this last year and they know what it is. The new girls do not know what it is. One of my tips for using this is don't wear fuzzy clothes when you're out here. You want to put this down very lightly and very slowly because it is very dusty and it will create this horrible cloud, and that's not good for their breathing or their lungs if it's just a big puff of cloud. Once it's down and it's settled, it's fine and they can scratch around in it. I have not had a problem. I've been using this for about 3 years now. Never had an issue, but you just want to lightly lay it down on the ground. As you can see, the new girls are not so sure of it. I usually leave a corner if they want to dust bathe, and the older girls are thrilled to have it back. This does provide a little bit extra warmth out here, and it gives them a lot to do. It keeps them very, very busy. Throwing any kind of a corn mixture or scratch over top of this just gives them more to dig around. I hope this video encourages you to take a little bit of extra time when we're cold to run outside and protect your chickens for the winter. It will make them happier and healthier. It will make you happier and feel more secure knowing that they'll be safe during the winter months. But also remember, they are an outdoor bird. God created them to handle the winter, and they will be fine. If you love and care for them every day, they will survive another winter. Thanks for watching Grow with Angie. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give a thumbs up if you got value from this video. It helps me so much. I appreciate you guys being part of my community, and we'll see you on the next episode of Grow with Angie. Pay for themselves because you don't have to worry about frozen food. What? Why? Frozen water. This one back here always likes to eat my pants. I don't know what it is. Do you like that? Now tip. They just flew over my microphone cord. Ugh. Okay, let's try this again. Thanks for the blooper there, Roadrunner.